Good morning, everybody. On behalf of Barnett, I'd like to welcome and thanks for being here. A little bit of my background. I've been in the industry since 2006 and have been writing narratives for the past 2 years. I personally believe that this material and templates that I'm going to provide you throughout this presentation will reduce the time it takes to write a narrative, and as it becomes a second nature, it also helps to identify the required elements that perhaps need querying later on. So I'm very excited to share these materials with you. All right, let's start with learning objectives. Describe relevant regulatory requirements in producing good quality case narratives. Appropriately define and evaluate the critical data elements. Clarify special situations and challenges. And lastly, acquire and practice the skills necessary for generating well-written case narratives for reporting to regulatory authorities. The narrative according to FDA, EMA, and ICH guidelines. A little bit background on the narrative. A narrative is a short document that's required by the United States Food and Drug Administration, FDA, and the European Medicine Agency, EMA, to briefly describe the events in the life of a patient. These narratives are required when the patient enrolled in the study, after taking the study medication or approved drugs, which is post-marketing, has discontinued the study because of an adverse event, had one or more serious adverse events, or died. FDA, EMA, and International Conference on Harmonization, ICH, guidance documents call for the submission of study subject or patients' experience in narrative form for those who actually meet these specific criteria. The goal of narrative writing is to have a concise document that looks like all the other narratives so the reviewers can easily move from one to the next, finding the same type of information in the same place in each document and finding key pieces of information. Therefore, narratives should be written in as uniform a manner as possible. To achieve this, narratives are best written from a template in which styles have been preset. The font and other style issues, the width of the margins, spaces between lines, and wording in each paragraph will be defined for each company's conventions. So narratives are written on subjects in completed studies. These information for the narrative comes from line listing and safety reports. Subjects in ongoing studies, the information for narratives are in CIOMs, MedWatch, Data Correction Forms, DCF, and Case Report Forms, CRFs. Also on patient and post-marketing. These are the narratives that have different nature than the ones that are written for subjects in controlled study, because the only information the sponsor has about the patient has come from reporting physician. Any numbers on serious adverse events calculated from post-marketing are undercounted. Reasons for undercounting includes patient not telling healthcare professionals which drugs they are taking, and also patient not reporting adverse events to the healthcare professionals. Here are some sources of information in narratives. Safety reports such as MedWatch and CIOMs, CRFs, which are typically filled out by the investigator or study coordinator at the site, DCF, which are typically filled out by the monitor, medical and hospital records, email correspondences, literature reports, telephone contacts, regulatory authorities, and non-medical sources such as internet and digital media. They also come from clinical databases which can be locked or unlocked. Some FDA, EMA, and ICH guidelines. The case narrative must not contain information that could be used to identify a patient or a reporter. The information shall be presented in a logical time sequence in the chronology of the patient's experience. The narrative should serve as a comprehensive, stand-alone medical report containing all known relevant clinical and related information.